Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundless success to join today. Let's get you to the next level.
Simple questions for 100 people. Welcome to the experiment. I'm Bill Carell, and this is my investigation. My research project to gather data from 100 beautiful human beings for the sole purpose to see what actually happens across the interviews. The questions are fixed, and all the interviews will remain consistent, and the variable will be the actual participants themselves and their answers. So, Joel, it's as if I'm having you come sit on my porch to share your thoughts so I can learn about people, and maybe I'll learn a little something about me too. We are looking forward to what we will learn when we're done, but we're very interested in the people, the process, and in your particular story. Folks, you'll get to know our guests through the interview, so let's dive in. Sir, what is your full name?
Good morning, Bill, and my name is Joel Holc.
Yes. Do you have a middle name?
Yeah, but I rarely use it. Yeah, I do. Actually, I have 6 different names, but let's stick with Joel Holc. I mean, it's a long story.
You know what? We've got time. So it's totally up to you. You know, this is voluntary, but I do think that already we've started to learn something really precious about you.
Yeah. So I was born Damian Ariel Holc. At age 3, my family moved to Israel from Argentina, and then they gave me Israeli names. They call me Joel Shmuel Holc. So my entire names and last name change. So today I'm actually going by in the in Israel it's Joel, but here I call it Joel and Holc. So yeah, this is interesting question. Simple question with the interesting answer.
They all are, my friend. And
Yes,
what's really cool is the answers are unique. But what I'm finding about people, well, I'm not going to tell you that yet. We just keep you in suspense for a moment. So that's really brilliant. You've been around quite a bit. I mean, that's geographically Argentina to Israel.
Correct.
Yeah. And quite frankly, in my prior conversation with you, in full disclosure, we had a wonderful chat with each other in a room where we could almost hear what the other person was saying, and we hung in there with it, with interruptions and all, right?
Yes.
So, Joel, what is your favorite nickname that most people don't know?
So again, you know, it's again a simple question with not simple answers. So they actually two. So when I grew up, so as I say in Israel, I grew up with the last name Holt. And here in the United States, for a million reasons, it's actually moved back to Holc. And so as a child, and we all call ourselves by our last name, but you know, with a little bit tweak to it. So as kids, it was Holtzy. Like this is how all my friends called me Holtzy.
Yes.
Till this day, you know, when I connect with my friends in Israel and when I connect with, you know, when I go back to visit and all our age group friends like this, we calling each other by the last name like that. So this is one. And the second, it's a handful of people allowed to call me, like not allowed, but calling me like that. And one of them, she's she passed away almost 2 years ago, and she was definitely the love of my life. And she was my high school sweetheart, but it was even before high school, and we were in each other's life forever. And she used to call me Yoelik. So this is probably, if I would give anything, it's probably for her to call me one more time like that. But she's with God now. And yeah, so this is the two names that thank you for bringing this up.
Thank you for sharing. And at the same time, I'm really sorry for your loss. Obviously, your memories are strong, and I support your wanting to hear her say your name one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be an interesting for you. The next question is, when did you first notice what color hair you had?
Again, simple questions with not simple answers.
Yep.
So I was not. Maybe I was born like that. I think I was born like that. And in my hair, so it wasn't the color of my hair, it's actually the length of my hair.
Yep.
And so when I was about maybe 12 years old, and we remember walking to school with a group of friends. And at the time, no, it wasn't 12. It was way before that, maybe 8 to 9. We walked to school, and one of the kids came behind me and did like this to my ear. I say, Joel, you really have big ears. And I was so embarrassed. And I said that I will grow my hair to be long to hide my ears.
Wow.
And this was in the 70s. And so I started growing my hair, and my dad was so mad about it. And I for years took me to understand, and I never asked him this question, why he was so mad about my hair. But later in life, I understood, all the hippie movements and all the, all this was happening at the same time. And probably in his mind, I became a hippie, and who knows? I don't know what's went through his head. So this is my first memory of hair, and he refused to let me grow my hair. Like this was a daily fight in our house. And in the Jewish culture, once you turn 13, you legally a man. So I remember pushing to my dad, like, once I turn 13, you can't tell me how long my hair will be. And I grew up on the beach, and I grew up so I remember him forcing me to get my hair cut, and probably 2 days before I turned 13, because he knew this is the last time that he can force me to cut my hair. So then my hair started growing, and it was long hair, and from the sun it was, I won't call it blonde, but it was all burnt color hair because we were in the sun all the time. So this is one memory of her. And then when I got older, my hair started turning gray, and I started complaining about my gray hair. And then I started losing my hair, and I say, Joel, maybe you should stop complaining about the color of your hair. Just be appreciated that you have hair. And now I love my bald head. I really love. I love my new look, but it's not new. It's been like this for probably 25 years.
So for the folks at home, we should let you in on the joke a little bit. I would say if you can close your eyes and conjure up an image of Vin Diesel, you'll get a pretty good idea of the do that Joel is sporting today. It's very masculine, and it's very well kept, and it can't take you more than 10 seconds to wash it off and get back out and dry your head off, right?
twice a week I shave, so it does take some time, but it's definitely much easier than it used to be before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same situation with my beard. It just doesn't require much of all.
No
Wash it.
attention. No
Yeah.
attention.
Little blow dryer and boom, we're down the road.
Sure.
So this next question is going to be very interesting to you because I think because of who I think you are, but one of the things that is most telling about people is what's your favorite thing to do to intentionally waste time?
I don't intentionally waste time, but I do waste time.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't intend. So the things that I like to do that I enjoy, I enjoy walking. I enjoy meditation. I enjoy, and this is stuff that I really enjoy. Unfortunately, probably I'm not the only one in the world that guilty of wasting time on social media and stuff. This is probably what I would like to eliminate a lot out of it.
Yeah. Not more than 2 or 3 billion people are doing what you're doing on social media.
Right this second.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So is there a particular kind of social media that you spend your time on?
You know what's the worst thing for me in social media? You know where you start, you never know where you finish.
Yes.
Just start and getting a life of his own. So I will thank you for bringing this question up. Maybe I will surface it out to my commitment for myself.
A moment of introspection
For sure.
in a friendly conversation.
Correct.
So, Joel, what's your favorite movie to watch alone?
And probably Love Actually. I love this movie.
Good choice.
Yeah. Love this movie. I can watch it. I probably watch it once a year. And another movie that I love is Lucy. I think it's called Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating. It's the Lucy movie is more fascinating.
Yeah.
And, probably these two movies.
I can tell you this is something you have in common with my dear wife. She loves that movie, and typically between Thanksgiving and Christmas every year, we must watch it.
Yeah, it's just a feel good movie. Just love movie.
Yes, sir.
It's a life movie. Yeah.
So, if you were to have an action figure made of you, Joel, what superpower would it have, and what colors would the uniform be?
So this question took me back. So I really don't have any vision for myself for superpowers now. As a child, I always wanted to have the superpowers to be able to be invisible. And I'm sure that it's had a lot to do with my psychic, and it wasn't accidentally. I'm sure I many times want to be invisible, and this was so. When you brought this question, this is the first thing that came to mind: is to be invisible. Again, this is not something from today. Today, I'm a grown up, maybe.
Well, I'm curious if you were pressed to stop and think for a minute or two, and let's just say that God could grant you a wish that you could have any superpower that you wanted. What would you choose now?
And I'm thinking, but it will be something around love.
Yes.
It will be something around love is to support people to know that we are love. I mean, this is it probably will be something around love. I will get back to it, but it will be something superpower around love and the energy of love.
So perhaps without really defining exactly what it is and how it manifests, what would you do with this superpower? How would you bring it into action?
So and I know you and I were talking about my book, and it's really about our energy that we sourcing ourselves from is most of the time are reacting from the energy of fear and not connecting to the energy of love. So it will be somewhere around that, supporting people to become aware of the energy of love. And when I talk about love, it's not only a romantic relationship. I'm talking about energy of love. I'm not talking about intimate relationship. And it's also can implement to intimate relationship, but really that we are in the end, that we were created to be created from the energy of love.
Yes. Yeah.
So if I can help people become aware that they have the choice, this is what I would like to do, is to just help people to become aware that they have a choice. I work with a guy, and we working together, and he read my book, and I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute. And we ran into some challenges, not between him and me, but between him and somebody else. And then he said, "There's a chapter in my book that's called What Love Will Do." And in the middle of all the conversation that we had, and I try to accommodate the situation, he said, "Joel, I just remember your book." And I ask myself, in the midst of all the disagreement, what love will do. And all of a sudden, it's changed the complete conversation and the end result.
It's kind of an interesting bridge, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a bridge that has no mass, but it makes all the difference in the universe. I kind of hear you saying that you would take this gift and you might give it away to people so that they could first accept themselves and other people, and then be curious about what's interesting and special about themselves and other people. And in the end, be really ready to be amazed by how they feel when they're around certain people or when they think of them. For me, the term love, I agree with you. It has less to do with romantic need and wanting, and it has an awful lot more to do with I love how I feel about me when I think about you. And so that kind of gives you this reinforcement to the energy, whether the person is near or far. And I think that would be a worthwhile endeavor to just be able to walk through crowds of people where there's discourse going on and also discord. And just by walking through that large group of people, now all of a sudden they're smiling at each other and they're laughing.
Yeah.
They get it.
Or just live in peace, even if they're not smiling, laughing, they're just in peace and
Yeah.
they're not guarded. And because when we sourcing ourselves from the energy of fear, we are so guarded, we are so protected, we close, we have limited so many limitations, and yeah.
I love that. I really do.
Thank you.
And
thank you for don't let me skip this question.
sir, that's my job. No extra charge. Okay.
Okay.
It's essentially, I'm always listening for the next thing to tease out that I don't know what it's going to be, so that's where the gold is in my particular opinion. And I'll give you a pass on the colors of the the uniform simply because I think we could choose invisibility.
Yeah,
They kind of wouldn't matter, would they?
it does make no difference. It's yeah, agree.
I do hear a background of not about me-ism, you know, in what you're stating is not the energy is here, it's around all of us. We're sourcing it for ourselves and each other and being responsible about what kind of energy you're giving and taking, you know?
You know, Bill, you say earlier, and it's about giving it away, and you know, hungry people cannot feed hungry people. We need to be the love that we can't give what we don't have. If we
Right.
don't love ourselves, we can't love others. There's a difference between loving ourselves and being self-centered. I mean, it's not. It's everybody are important, and it's loving ourselves is as common sense that it might make sense to love ourselves. Most people don't love themselves.
Sure. Sure. And I also want to encourage you that as we're going through these questions, and if there's something that you want to bring up or presence from your book, it's totally appropriate to share that. And I appreciate that you're willing to.
Sure. So let me say, let me respond to that.
Sure.
I assume you're a man of faith. Am I assuming correct?
Yes. Yes, you are.
So while I was in the process of writing the book and doing all the work that I've done around my book and around my life, I was driving on the highway and I heard voices and they say, Joe, we have a gift for you and we want to give it to you if you promise to give it away. And I say, okay, I will accept this gift. And it's showed up in so many ways. And when you say give it away, it's immediately like we got connected for a reason. It's and I did not forget my promise, but it's really about it's give it away. It's not mine to keep for myself because there's no value if I'm the only one
Yes.
benefit from that. And the value is if the world and my world is small, but it is my world, and maybe I one day be able to impact the entire world. And right now, I'm impacting the entire world that I can, and in the promise that I kept to give it away, I do a lot of work, and I working with people, and I support them in the life journey, and really with the commitment to give it away.
Beautifully said.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I also hear in you the Buddhist philosophy that life is not about the destination, but the journey. And also that means whatever energy that you have, the joy is in the giving it away, not the having it.
You see the picture behind me?
I do.
So
It's
I went to, and I know that people that's listening to the call not go to see it. So it's basically it's wood and there's a road in the middle, but it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful picture. And this was while I was going through shifting my life from a point of destination to the point of the journey. Because for many, many years, my life just was a destination purpose. And I went to an art show, and this was the first picture that I saw, and it spoke to me immediately. And I walked throughout all the art show, and I said, "Okay, can I? Which picture I will buy today?" And worked probably for about 3 or 4 hours, worked throughout all the art show, and then come back to this picture and purchase that. And because this is really speaking to me how the life is a journey. And the destination of life is the journey.
Yes. Yeah. That's fun. What I'm doing with that communication is I'm also bringing some Robert Frost into the picture. You know,
Mhm.
the road less traveled.
Yeah,
And the interesting part of all of that is that even though you can see quite a ways into this in the distance, there's other things that are very small that are now just starting to be distinguished visibly, right? So that there's always something that's pulling you ahead, you know, to enjoy the present as well as anticipating and celebrating the future.
for sure.
Yeah, interesting. So, what did you want to be when you grew up and you were 5 years old?
So I don't remember when I was 5 years old, but I remember later, probably 11, 12. So I grew up in a kibbutz in Israel. So I grew up with animals and I grew up with, obviously, with people. And I fell in love with horses. And I worked with horses all my teenagers years, my early 20s, I when I grew up, I thought that I will do something with horses for the rest of my life. And I
Yeah,
did it for a while and it was great. And so this was my childhood dream is to work with horses in some capacity.
that's wonderful. I'm curious. A very, very good friend of mine, as a matter of fact, he was a PhD student at the University of Connecticut. And we were good friends for about 5 years until he completed his thesis, and then he went away. But he also spent some time in a kibbutz. Have you ever heard of Beersheba?
Yeah.
That's where he was.
Okay.
I know there's many kibbutzes in Israel, but the experience that he shared about that too was he really appreciated the sense of community, really seeing the value of what he did in little things that he'd never been able to appreciate before he got there. And also the sense of gratitude, both from himself to other people and from them to him. Not like it was perfect all of the time, but he said, I really knew that the mission I had to accomplish today was an important one to keep things running.
Yeah, it's a very unique, and I grew up as a child there. My family moved to the kibbutz when I was about 10 years old,
Right.
and I was there for all my teens and my early 20s. And it's a very unique way to grow up, very unique way of lifestyle. Today, most of the kibbutzim did not sustain themselves. So they evolved to communities and not on the same principle as they were when I was a kid. Uh, and it was, as a child, for me, it was the best childhood that I could ever dream of. And not for everybody. I have a lot of friends that we grew up together that their experience was different. For me, it was really, really freeing.
That's beautiful. Um, do you do much with horses at all?
I do not. I miss it, and I do not. It's yeah. I will.
There's still something there, isn't there?
Oh, there's absolutely. Every time I'm going by a horse, every time I'm going to by the stable, it's just the smell. The smell take me back home.
Yeah.
And today, I'm a little bit more calculated. Risk reward for me is a little bit more important. When I was a kid, I probably were in the emergency room at least once a month. Today, I just the risk reward is not really make sense for me to do it. And I'm sure that once I will be next to a horse, I will forget about all the logic and love will be all around, and I will jump on the horse and forget about everything that I just say right now.
Yeah. That's a different kind of conversation. People who have never been around horses have no idea what it's like to non-verbally communicate with an animal that's that strong, that muscled, and that willful, and that loving. when you get through that place where you're connected with each other, the horse sees you and it gets excited, and you get excited, and it's all nonverbal.
It's all energy.
Yes.
And maybe, and because I'm sourcing myself more aware of my energy today, probably if I would be backing horses, it will be a completely different experience than it was when I was a kid. Because as a kid, it was really, and I talk about it in my book. I grew up with. I mean, I still have dyslexia, but as a kid, I had dyslexia, and nobody even knew what it is. So I was unfit anywhere, and school was a torture for me, and the only place that I was valuable in my own eyes was around the horses.
Yeah.
And at a very early age, I ran the stable in the kibbutz, and in the time that my friends were just teenagers or kids, I already ran. I was responsible for all these animals. I was working hard. I was really there. I was committed. And so there is everything is connected. This is something that also from the journey and from the book and in life is, everything is connected. Everything in life is connected.
It's true, because you're in everything in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So along those lines, you're obviously a man that has had many opportunities, many experiences, met many thousands of people, I'm sure. And what would you say is your greatest accomplishment to date?
I raised my kids by myself.
Oh my
I
goodness.
became a single parent when my daughter was 2.5 years old. She will be 30 next week. And I lived in a country with no support by myself. My immediate family is in Israel, and running multiple businesses and raising two kids. My son was 3 months old. I mean, he was I could hold him in my arm today. If you see my son, I can stand behind him. You're not going to see me. And so this is probably the one thing that I am selfishly most proud of, is raising my kids.
I can only imagine. I think it would be marvelous to speak to those great human beings as well.
I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah. So we teed up the next question very nicely. Who's your favorite person to listen to?
So it's come in waves. Lately I listened a lot to Louise Hayes, but it's coming in waves. It's not one person that I can say. There was time that I really studied a lot about the Buddha. So, and this was a really important part of my life. The art of happiness. Like this is a strong, the Dalai Lama. But it's really coming in waves, because I'm not the same person that I was yesterday.
Right.
And the right people, and it's really the trust that the right people will show up in my life. So it's spiritually that there are people that I listen to. I also have businesses. I have mentors in my business world that I listen to and communicate with, and so there is, again, it's change. I don't want to say daily, but it's definitely fluent.
So you mentioned the Dalai Lama. Is that something like a phase that you went through, or is that a conversation that you return to from time to time, or would you say it's something you look forward to hearing, maybe something that you've not heard him speak about before?
So in the beginning, I drink from the fire hose, so any word will jump in. and then it's find its place, find its balance. And so I do listen to it, and it's showing up in my life when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's not something that I go every week to listen to or to work. And there was a time that I did went. There was a time that I did went to on a weekly basis to listen to lectures and to listen to conversations and being part of the conversation. And then it's love is need, and it's finding its balance, and just moved on.
Yes. Economics really comes true in real life, doesn't it? You do get to a point where that's enough, and now we'll take a minute and do something else. One of the things that I always found with the Dalai Lama was listening to him speak was always an exploration in the distinctions of love, the love that you and I are talking about at the level of energy, at the level of the entire universe. And really getting an appreciation for this universe only exists because we're here to experience it. And that's a thing you can get lost in thought over. But one of the most compelling arguments I heard him make, somebody asked him, what is he considered to be a failure? You may have heard this. And he said, for me, my reason to be here is to express and demonstrate and teach about love and be loved. He said, for me, the greatest failure is to become angry. He said, angry is not in what I'm supposed to be doing. And at the same time, it is very human, and it's actually taking away the value of everything that I've done so far in my life.
Yeah.
Because there never is anything that's valuable, hence the making these very complex chalk drawings on the sidewalk and then getting a bucket of water and splashing it all away, a work of art that no one will ever see after that. Yeah. Again, the point being the joy was in the doing it, not the emotions of being proud or conceited or all of these other emotions that can come afterwards. So the disconnecting from your attachment to self.
I am far from being close to the Dalai Lama. and for me, is being present when I'm sourcing myself from love, or being present or becoming present when I'm reacting from fear.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, most people, most of the time, surviving and reacting from fear. And this is basically the other side, the opposite energy of love is, for me, my understanding is the energy of fear.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really think, that you and I are both in the empowerment business. We're constantly taking measure of what's missing, and in our own limited way, trying to be the source of that. Even in the face of being the source of it's not working, there are some times where the empowerment that's being called for is beyond our ability to produce it or generate enough energy at that moment. But that's when we need to source more love and more energy in a larger group of people. That's my soapbox.
It's attracting people to us from the energy of love. It's not going and fixing people.
Right.
There's nothing to fix. Every person living their life. This is their journey. It's not my responsibility to fix people. I can't do that. It's maybe showing people that there's another way to live life. There's other options they can choose to do. But in the end of the day, it's not going to a group of people and preach. This is not where I see myself is, hey, this is how I choose to live my life. This is available for you. And the right people will show up to my life. And it doesn't mean that they necessarily vibrating on the same vibration, or there is this vibration attracting them that they will show up. And yeah.
I like that. And I think there's the distinction of talking about something, which is to try to relate to another human being how it seems to you. And then there's a way of presencing it, which is to show up into a complete stranger, say, what do you need? Do you need help? Do you need a hug? Or do you need me to listen? You tell me what you need.
And sometimes they don't know what they need, and we need to. Most people living in a survival, they don't know what they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joel, please complete this sentence. When I grow up, Bill, I'd like to.
I use this sentence all the time.
Yeah.
So my vision when I grow up, I want to build an alternative healing center. Okay. That people now, alternative healing centers are there. I'm not inventing anything. My vision for this center is that it will be somewhere distant from the busy lifestyle in the city. It's in nature, with water, with the running river, lake, hills, weather. It will be probably somewhere in the Northeast. I'm not really enjoying the winters anymore as much as I used to when I was younger. And there's value to the seasons. I enjoy the seasons. And in this healing center, people can come and stay there for a day. They can stay there for a week. They can stay there as long as they want. And what unique will be about it is that it will be a donation base. People can come and pay $1 a day, or can pay $1 a year, whatever it is. It's the give it away promise.
Yeah.
That they make. Because for myself, and we didn't talk much about my book, but what my book and the name of the book is The Actual Effect. And it's about my life journey, and it's about my work that I have done to heal myself. And luckily enough for me, I was in a financial position to invest a lot of money in myself to heal myself. And this is not always the case. When people physically or emotionally struggling, usually there is also impact financially. So if there is a way to support them to heal themselves, I don't want it to be based on how much money you have. If there is an answer to your pain, and if there is an answer to your suffering, and there is a life that is available for you to live powerfully after that, I don't want it to be based on how much money can you afford to invest in yourself. So my vision when I grow up, this is part of my vision, is to be able to do that. And I'm involved in multiple businesses myself. The businesses that I'm involved are all about creating residual income. And the reason that I'm focusing on that, because once this business is running, then I'm freeing up my time. I have the financing to do what I want to do when I grow up. And this is a big, it's a big why. It's a big, thank you. Thank you for asking this question.
Yeah, my pleasure. So the really interesting thing about what I keep hearing from you is that in this domain of sourcing, channeling, being the conduit and connector for power and energy, there's actually a biblical phrase in Isaiah that says something about the beauty of the gift being when you can't tell who's giving and who's receiving. That's kind of a remarkable way to live your life, with the idea that you're building something that will benefit people you haven't met yet, in a powerful way, that whether they get the experience that you got or they get a different experience, you want that to be something that they're in, in control. They've got the sovereignty to have that opportunity, and then do with it what they will. And some will make a lot of it, and some will probably not. But that's not the game you're playing. You just want to make it available.
Yeah. And we were talking about everything in life is connected. And the reason that I understood that is when I went through my painful experience and awakening experience that I had, and realized, and the biggest breakthrough that I had is learning loving myself. Up until I learned to love myself, I could easily blame other people. Hey, why this person did this? Why she did that? Why he did this? Why blah 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 blah. And it's not even not assuming responsibility. Even if I assume responsibility, it's just making myself wrong for
Yes.
what happened. Okay, so in the moment that I realized that I really never loved myself, and I realized that I can love myself if I choose to, and I start loving myself. And when I start loving myself, I used to take myself for dates. There were months and months that every day there was an hour that it was just for me. Okay, no work, no kids, no worker, nothing, just for me. And eventually I did not need to take an hour break from life to love myself. I love myself 24/7. And I love myself not because other people are not important, it's because other people are important. And in the moment that I learned to love myself, I realized that I am who I am today thanks to, not because, thanks to everything that happened in my life. If one little thing will be different, I will be a different person right now. So I love myself now. So it's basically love everything that happened to me until now.
Yes.
Even if at the time it's brought me pain and suffering or brought me joy, it's love it because I am who I am today, thanks to, not because, thanks to what happened. And I even have no clue why I'm actually saying that, but you say something that really I know why. If I have the privilege to touch a person's life and knowing that their life journey will be shaped differently, thanks to the fact that we got connected. And if we got connected for a minute, or if we got connected for an hour, for a week, for a month, for a year, whatever it is, their life will be impact, and hopefully for the better, thanks to the fact that we got connected, because everything is connected. Bill, our chances to meet each other are 1 out of 4 trillion, and I think we talked about it.
Yeah, and it's not an accident, is it?
It's all connected. All connected.
That's the best part of, and that's the most delicious part of life. And I think to take an opportunity to slow down, before you speed up, as opposed to trying to always do everything in top gear. I love what you said about taking an hour time out a day. For some people, that would just be such a great prescription. And to not necessarily do anything with that time or plan for it at all, but to maybe spend a little bit more time asking yourself questions about what makes you so damn lovable. You know, what is it about you? And I really do believe that uncorking that source is a very powerful thing. And I don't think we've seen the entirety of what that can accomplish in life, but I do think in my humble opinion, I'm going to say you're on the right track.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I will just, for anybody that's listening, and I love the question that you make. People say, hey, what makes me so lovable? But if people don't love themselves, they cannot ask this question. The question will be is why you don't love yourself, or what is in your life. Get complete with why you think you don't. What is the reasons? And it's not even thinking. It's like when people don't love themselves, they don't love themselves, and it's as a clear reasoning. It's not, oh, maybe like they really, and just it's take time from going from a place of not loving myself, or I'm not important, or whatever it is, to a place that loving. There's a journey. There's a picture. There's a journey together. It's very. I have not experienced yet somebody going from a place of not loving themselves to loving themselves just by decision. There is a lot of energy that needs to get released. This is the magic. This is the beauty. This is the journey. This is the connection. Eventually, if they committed, they will get to a place that they love themselves and be able to look at everything and say, love myself, and thank God, or whatever, whatever they believe is, that everything happened the way that it happened because I love myself.
Yeah, it's powerful that all the ingredients that go into the cake make it the cake. If you try to take some of them out, you've got a different product, and if you celebrate how you got here, you can celebrate being here. And if you can celebrate being here, you can maximize, your ability to be authentic, in terms of expressing yourself. Not because you're trying to be authentic, but because what else would you do than just like how it is, So I feel like we've already hopped into the next question, but I do believe that there'll be some more gold here. What's the most important thing in life to you right now?
Everything that we talked about.
Yes. And
Everything that we talked about. And it's continued this journey. I think it's there was a time, and when you asked this question, there was a time in my life where every moment was a wow moment. As I got connected, as I got alert, awake, or got rid of all my fears, and the not got rid of my fears, got rid of the limitations that my fears gave me. It was a very wow moment. Every moment was a wow moment. Wow, I would do this. Like it's just I was at awe. I am not at awe anymore. And there was a big part of my life that I was always afraid that I will fall backwards, that my survival mechanism will take me backwards. And I went through a lot. And so, and today I trust myself that I am in the right path and things move in the right direction. And everything is important. Everything is important. Everybody that we meet are important. Everything that they do is important. And trust, trust, trust. Trust and have faith. Trust and have faith.
Yeah, those are two big ones for most people. But you're absolutely correct. There is no authenticity without trust and faith. There's no access to love until you can put your sword down and embrace whatever will come, no matter what it is. It's lovely.
There's a chapter in my book that's called "The Willingness to Be Vulnerable is the Access to Freedom."
Amen.
And there is so much power, and this is only strong people can be vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah, and there it's not like being strong is the lack of weakness. It's choosing to take action in the face of weakness. I love it.
Yeah.
So Joel, what would you like to leave in the world after your life is done?
hopefully the world will be a better place after I'm done, hopefully the world will be a better place. I doesn't seem like it right now, and I hope that it will. So hopefully the world will be a better place.
Yeah. I think the lack of definition around that is actually a great ambiguity that is a good place to leave that question.
Yeah.
I think anyone who really listens to what we've been talking about can find themselves in this conversation somehow, some way, and maybe at a profound level, and maybe as a let's interesting level, and a couple crackpots, talking to each other like what they have to say means something.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's all of that going on. So, okay, so if you're raised in Israel, I'm sure you had great bakeries over there. If you get a dozen Danish, what do you also get? You get a free 13th one, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. So the point is that I've also got a 13th question for you here.
Go ahead.
After everything that we've said in the last sort of an hour or so, what's the thing that most people misunderstand about you?
I didn't meet most people. I really don't know. I think that people know me from a deep. I really don't know. I don't know. Did not meet most people, and I love to meet most people. But the people that know me, they know me for depends of which time of my life they know me.
Yeah.
So I think this is a lot have to do with work in which part of my journey they met me. Yeah.
I like it. Not
Yeah.
not only do you not know, you're not losing any sleep over it either, are you?
There are a lot of people in the world, and most of them don't. I mean, 99.99999999999% of the people in the world don't know me. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I personally, I would say that a lot of those people should get to know you.
If it's in their journey to meet me, they will meet me.
Sure. So, with regard to your book, is
Uh-huh.
there you like to tell the folks how to access it, where to get it from? Is there any type of special invitation that you want to give folks um, regarding the book?
Yeah. Give me a second. So, if anybody chooses to read the book, they can get it on Amazon. The name of the book is The Eggshell Effect: My Journey from Fear. And my invitation for anybody that chooses to read this book is it's a working book. In the end of each chapter, there are about 3 or 4 pages for people to write their own story. So it is about my story. However, it's about people's life story, whatever their life look like. It's not about them reading my book and say, hey, Joel is this, Joel is that. Joel is not that important. You are important. The reason for the book is for the readers to write their own story. And so this is my invitation for anybody that looking for more, that want more, that know that there's something else out there for them, or they're not happy, or they're happy and they can be happier. Whatever it is, wherever they are, is to read the book. And if once they read the book, and if they need any support, I'd be happy to support them. And as my promise to give it away, this is one of the things that I promise to give away. So I collect donations for the support that I do for people. If people want, if they can and want to pay, they pay. If they cannot or don't want to pay, I still will support them. So it's not, there's no financial commitment to work together. My commitment is to support people to live their life powerfully and to recognize when they're sourcing themselves from love or when they're reacting from fear.
Marvelous. It communicates very, very well. So lastly, you've been very generous with yourself, and you've answered all of my questions in a really rather marvelous way. And I'm just wondering, do you have any questions of me?
I don't have any questions. Obviously, we share a lot of time. I just want to acknowledge you for what you're doing. And I want to acknowledge you for investing your time into other people's life and with a commitment to help people that you never met and might never will meet. It just be there for somebody. If somebody, listen to, and I know when we start the call, you say, "Hey, Joel, it might go to be half an hour." Depends how the conversation will go, and obviously the conversations went wherever conversation went. But hopefully, somebody heard one word today that their life will be impacted for the better for the rest of their life. You and I did our job. And I will just finish with that. And in the end of the book, and for anybody that chooses to read the book, I talk about everything. It's the willingness to be vulnerable is the access to freedom. I am completely vulnerable in the book. And I had a thought and say, "Joe, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Don't publish this book. This is way too personal." And then the thought is if I help one person, it will pick up the book and read the book and their life will be better, it was all worth it. So if the work that you do and somebody listening to this conversation and their life will be better thanks to you, Bill, that you create the space for them to improve their life. So this is what I love to say to you.
Thank you, my friend. I'm taking it all on board, and I'm actually enjoying the energy rush. I appreciate you. So the eggshell effect, my journey from fear.
Correct.
Folks, do yourself a favor and look Joel up, because he's a man with many, many, many levels. And thank you for being on my podcast, Joel. It's lovely spending some time with you and getting to know you a little bit better.
I appreciate you. Much love, my friend.
All right. So, folks, as I do at the end of all of my podcasts, as you know, I also have another podcast called Lighting the Candle, A World That Works, which is totally an invented conversation pretty much every week for 5 years, delving into empowerment and access to empowerment and how can we make our lives better just simply by showing up, being present, and enjoying ourselves. So with that in mind, I just want to give you all my frequent invitation, which is, will you please call, write, email, text somebody that you love and let them know that your world is better because they are in it. And that if they ever need you for a moment, for an hour, for a day, they should not give up on themselves before letting you know and giving you an opportunity to give them a very, very powerful listening ear. So thank you all one more time. Again, I'm Bill Carell. My guest this week has been Joel Holc, who is a fabulous human being. We're Simple Questions for 100 People, also known as the 100-Person Project. Bye for now, y'all.
You've been listening to Simple Questions for 100 People, part of the Xvadio Podcast Network. You can catch every episode of Simple Questions, plus the rest of the network, at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts.